Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the North American version of the Smite Pro League. My name, hi-rez Bart. His name, hi-rez Drybear, and it actually is for North America. Thank you for joining us. If it is your first games watched today, be sure to watch the VODs of the European matches earlier today. They were fantastic. Our first game today in North America will be Snipe versus the Fat Chunks. Snipe winning this matchup 1-0.
Yeah, so far they're already up 1-0 here. Fat Chunks came out a lot stronger than people expected out of the gate in the first week. Herwin, of course, performing very well. Roar on that Fenrir support role. Of course, kind of switching over to some of the more notable Guardians. We know that Cyclone Spin's been dominating the solo lane as well, considerably against very strong solo players, right? I mean, you're like, oh, he's up against, this really strong solo player. He can't do that well, and all of a sudden he did incredibly well against Xing last week.
He did.
So hopping into this match, I think the team talk about is Snipe here. I mean, they've been kind of down for the count for a long time, right? They're always that secondary team where you think about, oh, we got, Team Dignitas, we got Cognitive Gaming, we've got all these great teams, and Snipe's over there. Snipe does stuff. But now,
the perennial third place.
You've got Weekend, you've got Allied, Jerby's performing at a high level as well. In Continentia, one of the best solo supports you can get in fantasy. I mean, I think this team is solid.
I can't disagree with you right there. I think Snipe is looking very good this season. Early bans coming out. Mercury Loki banned out by Snipe. Fat Chunks taking out Circuit. Very different from Europe where we saw 3 out of 4 mages banned usually. Here we're seeing that it is 3 out of the 4 bans going the way of Assassins as we are reframed.
And then Ra, of course, is banned out for the last one there for Chunks. First pick goes to Snipe. Is it Zhongkui? Is it Zhongkui?
Will it be Zhongkui?
Is it Zhongkui? Is it Zhongkui?
They want him. They're like, what we should totally get here? It's going to be, maybe Geb.
Oh, wait. Nua's available.
Oh.
And Jerby
is one of the
Jerby can't miss the ult, so it's perfect.
He's already played her. This is actually how they beat Chunk, right? Last time.
That's right.
Didn't they have Nua last time they played?
Not against Chunk, I believe.
Was it not Chunk? Who was it that they got the victory with Nua?
I will tell you.
Go Drybear. But for the moment, we'll talk about Nua. Nua, very high burst mage with great potential. Is through the mid stages, she's able to reveal all players. On the other side of Fat Chunk, they pick up the tankiest mage and the burstiest mage. Scylla, Giannis is probably a toss up, but. The burstiest mage without his ultimate, certainly, Giannis here. So a lot of magical bursts coming on the table, plus the magical bruising in Zhongkui as a frontliner. Picks back to Snipe, where they will likely be picking up their Guardian and either a Nemesis, so they're picking Nemesis. If they're not picking Nemesis here for a weekend, they're going to be in a lot of trouble because they will get banned out or counterpicked by Fat Chunks for sure. Now, what they're probably thinking here is, do we take Nemesis plus Geb or Nemesis plus Apollo? That would be my guess. They're going to look to pick up their Hunter, and they're going to look to pick up their Jungler. Or they could be playing Freya in the Hunter role, which it appears that that's what they're going to do here. They're going to take Nua in the mid lane, Nemesis in the jungle, and Freya as their Hunter role, which will leave open Apollo, but does give them more flex on the support pick. Now, Fat Chunks on the other side, they are likely looking to... The smart money here is to pick Apollo again, or to pick Geb and ban Athena, or Athena ban Geb.
Well, let's see. I mean, Ra being gone means Herwin is kind of pushed into that Giannis role, which is, not really that unfortunate considering the fact that Giannis is so powerful right now. But they have a lot of options, right? Geb available, Athena available. Both of those can be used very effectively. The question is, how well do they value supports at this point in the game? And then a little bit of research in the question you asked previously. Last time that he played Nua was against Dignitas.
It was Dignitas.
And he went 4-2-18. Looks like he was actually the most damage dealt in the entire game, but not all that surprising.
Okay.
But they're going to pick Thor here, which, honestly, it's not really that surprising. You got Unique, who can play a very strong jungle.
Pick Thor, ban Geb strategy.
But I like it against Nemesis, Nua, Freya. All those characters are squishy, single-target characters that like to kind of get in and fight, whereas Thor's going to interrupt that a lot. Now, this also could be a support Thor, keep in mind. It is a roar, and he's weird like that.
Thor wall, pretty good against Nemesis. Anything that's hypermobile and dashes, the wall can block them out pretty well.
Though Fenrir would also work pretty well against Freya and Nemesis. And Nua.
It would, yeah, it definitely would. But final ban's coming out the way of Snipe, and they're going to ban.
They obviously don't think this is jungle because they're banning out Thanatos.
Yeah.
They're thinking it's support Thor as well.
Yeah, they also think support Thor. Support Thor, very bursty support, not so resilient, but we'll see as the rest of the picks come out. And there's Fenrir.
I think it's jungle Thor and support Fenrir. So that Thanatos ban was for nothing. So they actually got baited out there by Fat Chunk, knowing Aurora plays weird. I mean, same thing we had, right?
Yeah.
Aurora plays weird support. So yeah, it's got to be a Thor support. And then there's Fenrir. I think Thor works really well against this team. A lot of AOE interruption, good dunk on the ultimate. You got double stun. You got burst damage, and you got Fenrir support. Of course, same thing. A lot of disruption, a lot of displacement, a lot of damage output, while also being very tanky. I think this is going to work great against the lineup they have. Plus, they're going to have question is, what is Samsher going to play? I mean, he's going to play Cupid again.
If you're selling it, I'm buying it. And taking a look
Cupid
here.
Fenrir?
Yeah, Cupid Fenrir. For sure, why not?
Cupid Fenrir.
Over the side of Snipe, they're going to round out their draft with Allied and Jerby, picking up Athena and Chalk, respectively, there as the final 2 positions in the draft. And, of course, they're going to do their swappies. And it will be Fenrir Cupid. And I made a good purchase there. as it's going to be locked in now.
That is it. So we got a full lineup for both teams across the way. Fat Chunk's got Junkwei, Giannis, Thor, Fender, and Cupid. And, of course, Snipe has Nuwa, Nemesis, Freya, Athena, and Chuck. And they have a pretty stable team here. A lot of single-target damage. The thing is that you've got a lot of disruption. And look at the lineup for Fat Chunk here. This is not a lineup that you can say, as an assassin or single-target character, I have a lot of ins. I mean, when Junkwei is ulting and throwing out the slows, you can't go in. When Giannis has portals on the ground, you can't go in, or a lot of AoE damage coming in. If you think Thor's up in the air, you can't go in. If Fenrir is there and he has his ultimate, you can't go in. Freya really has to say, there's going to be a small window of opportunity where I can commit and get a kill.
Whoa, what about Cupid ultimate? You can't go into that either.
Cupid ultimate?
Yeah, come on, man. Give him his damn credit.
I have sprint.
He does one good thing.
I have sprint.
I don't care about your sprint.
I have sprint. I can sprint right through it.
But realistically, though, the Cupid ultimate, the Fields of Love, although pretty awful when it comes to actually doing the things, it is a massive cripple, which will synergize very well with Cyclone Spin's ultimate.
Well, I mean, you look at the enemy team, right? Nemesis will get hurt by that.
It's the
Athena
cripple.
will be hurt by
Let's
that.
be clear. It's the cripple. The mesmerize and the slow and all that is going to be completely negated by the fact that people are going to have sprint, people are going to beads, and people are going to be immune.
I mean, there's not an on her over there. There's not an Ool over there who really suffers from it. There's not a squishy person that has to dash away. Nemesis, yes, but she has retribution, right? She'll be able to get away from it.
Yeah.
She might be picking up sprint anyway. There's a lot of slows in the enemy team.
It stops it stops weaken, and it stops kicking.
Here's the thing. This is why I like Cupid and Fenrir together, because when Fenrir's on the team, you have to buy beads.
Yeah.
When Cupid's on the team, you have to buy sprint.
Right.
So what do? Do you buy both?
Where you get the Aegis.
You can't
Well, yeah, I mean, we've seen it before, right? It's the drop the Fields of Love, grab them with Ragnarok, drop them in the Fields of Love.
Yep.
What are they going to do about it? Tremendous amount of burst, especially with the Heart Bomb. And that's really what Cupid excels at, as being a tremendous burster.
Right.
The problem being that his clear is just so deficient, but AoE on Brutalize should help out with that a bit from Aurora.
Well, the biggest problem, right, is that Freya's laning phase is weak in the first 6 levels. She can't push as well. She's exposed. So they're going to run one of the most aggressive long lanes with Fenrir Cupid. I mean, they're going to get in her face and force Allied back to the tower. And one thing that we know about Allied, statistically, he's one of the worst farming hunter players there is. So he's going to start to fall behind the gold. He's going to push back towards his tower. Now, granted, he's still Freya, and Freya still scales well late. But the question is, can they actually shut down Allied well enough to get that CC on and just kind of go into mid-game wondering, okay, where else is the damage going to come from?
And how tenured is Allied with Freya?
Yeah, he's played her occasionally. Not so much recently, but definitely has experience.
Yeah. I mean, it was back when Pain to Beyond was trying to make it work on the Denial Squad, I think, before they were 5 angry men.
Yes.
It got a little popular in North America then, but never really saw it come to full fruition until recently, where we've seen it be pretty popular in addition to the Mercury Hunter role.
The only time we really had Freya take off was after PAX 2013, when it was like the double starting build.
Right.
That's the only time where it was like Freya all the time. She's great.
Starting build.
Yep.
Also, when you could buy Executioner and Demonic Grip on her.
Yep.
It was really
well. My favorite time was when you buy Heartseeker and Doomlord.
Those were good times.
That was the good time.
That was good times.
That's the fun stuff.
Now, yeah, Freya Hunter. Can Ally perform? Probably. And is this team? This team is pretty well crafted, right? Because Freya, Chalk, Nemesis, and Athena. Not so much Athena, but the Freya, Nemesis, Chalk core there is really good at basically harassing down targets over time. Nemesis can do a lot of damage to you over about a 6-second period. Chalk will continually throw axes at you, whittle you down. Freya, the Pulse will radiate, just chasing you down, pumping it into you, and they can use ultimate to get you low as well. And then you have Nuwa to clean all that up. Right? So there's a lot of synergy there with their ability to poke targets over time and then blow them up with new ultimate, not having to overcommit. It's just a question of, can they ride that line perfectly to where they're committing enough to get them low enough for Nuwa to get the kill early on, but not too much. But let's go ahead and introduce your teams, ladies and gentlemen. They are the blue team fighting on the bottom of the mini map and defending the Titan of Order. It's going to be Snipe Gaming. It's Kiki or Na in the solo lane. It will be Jerby in the mid as the Nuwa. Incontinential will be your Guardian as Athena. Allied, your Hunter as Freya. And Weaken in the jungle as the Nemesis.
Across the way, their opponents today will be Fat Chunks Assemble, and assembly on the screen for you. They are currently right now in the solo lane. We got Cyclone Spin, Heroine in the mid lane, and Aurora on the Guardian role. We got Samshu or Na on the Hunter, and then Unique in the jungle.
Yo, look at Samshu. What a lady killer that guy is.
That's cute.
And also Heroine may have a bigger forehead than you.
Oh my God, that's amazing. That is incredible. But there you go. That's the lineup, guys. Of course, we're hopping into a match here.
Pick up some Fat Chunks for actually supplying pictures.
Oh, the Heavy Hammer. Now, the Heavy Hammer.
He's done this every time he's played him.
Heavy Hammer actually has a bit of an issue with it.
Yes?
The tooltip is incorrect.
Is it?
Yes, it is actually 20% slow.
Ah.
Something we're fixing the next patch, but it's 20%, not 25%. It's always been 20%. It just projects 25%. So it's actually not as good, but still very good.
Puts the fear into man at 25%.
That's what it is.
At 20%, everyone would be like, no worries.
Yeah. Is the hammer just 20%? Wait, is the hammer just 25%? Whoa!
Well, hold on. Let's hold this thought as the chunks are rotating as 5, but there is double ward coverage of the orange and the blue for Snipe, and they know exactly where they are, and they are not going to leave that tier 1 mid.
They're just doing a pre-game lap.
Yep.
That's what they're doing. They're running around. They're not going to find anyone. They're going to find 3 in the mid lane here, but of course, Chalk is not going to be that easily killed. And of course, Weekend is way in the back, and Derby is sitting at tower as well. Look at the starting items here. We can see Allied is going to be going for that Ancient Blade, Vampiric Shroud start, which gives him the extra little bit of attack speed, and of course, rushes him into that Fatalis. For the players that do play Freya in the long lane, they almost always finish off the Fatalis before boots, just to get that extra little attack speed and movement speed increase. Of course, kind of like
that's a deep ward by Weekend here on Snipe. I think it was spotted out by Unique. I think he realizes they're there. And it doesn't look like they're actually going to invade. They just want to make sure that they take the orange buff and blue buff.
Well, let's see if they can do it. I mean, honestly, it's probably just going to be the blue buff and maybe just poke and see if they go right up. Looks like they're going to. Yep, so Kiki and Na and Weekend are both going to go over the blue buff and try to steal it away. Hog was used there by Thor. There's no Hog on Cyclone Spin. He is a mage. This could be a free pickup here. If you're running double physical in the solo lane plus the jungle, you've got a free Hand of the Gods, of course, 2 instead of 1. Looks like they're going to force him off and go back into the lane. Yukini does not have a Hog here. Hammer's going to hit Kiki, but they're perfectly okay with it. Cyclone Spin had to cyclone his way around that rock formation, go over towards his tower, so it seems to be a little bit...
Oh, Allied in a lot of trouble here. It's Brutalize coming through. 2 more auto attacks will do it. 1 more will do it now. Roar not going to elect to jump in, but Cupid will. Samshu taking a lot of damage there. That was not a great play by Samshu, unfortunately.
Taking a tower shot.
But, I mean, that would have been a great trade for Roar if he would have just leapt in and done the damage underneath the tower, taking first blood, but trading his life for it would have been worth. But still, you can see the pressure they're able to put out here in the duo lane.
Well, it also could have not worked, right?
That's true. It could have looked like a complete fool. But.
Yeah, it could have been awful there, especially with Finn right there. So, and a lot of times it's like, you know, is the kill really worth it? Do you want to just win the lane? Because a lot of times, if you set your hunter up to like win the lane before you start roaming, it's that much more beneficial than, you know, getting a kill, because all of a sudden Samshu now controls the entire lane, especially early on against the Freya. We do see Aurora rotating over to the mid lane here, possibly looking pressure on top of Derby. Portal on the ground. He's going to back up towards the tower. Derby, since starting the Pro League, has become a lot more jumpy. He's very careful. He's very cautious.
Okay, all right.
He's going back to the tower. He's hiding a lot. He's not as aggressive as he used to be.
She's saying Derby's scared.
Well, no, not necessarily. He's defensive.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Yeah, actually, you know what? He looks a lot like the best in terms of his mid lane play, right? I mean, it's very, very conservative.
Sure. Which works.
Burst mages playing very conservative has been his deal so far. Granted, we aren't seeing those patented wards that come out so much. But yeah, I mean, this duo lane, you got to think this is where the action is coming, where Aurora is just so aggressive. But in Continentia, probably the best performing support so far in the Pro League with a 4.8 KDA, the master of the kill steal, and 483 GPM versus Aurora sitting at the 1.1. They have only won 1 of their 3 games, and he's sitting at a pretty respectable 400 GPM, which is actually trending pretty high in terms of all of the supports. If not for in Continentias, mostly getting wins and also farming like crazy, he would probably be up there.
Well, he hasn't built the Deathbringer yet on Chalk support, so we know it's not the true Incontinentia. It must be a fake. They're going to clear out the wave here on the left side and push it all the way back. Look at that optimization. No one has gone home yet. It looks like no one to pick up anything new just yet. Consumables are now running dry, and looks like Weekend's going to head home as well as Derby. So we'll see what they decide to buy. Weekend's going to get that combat boot, portal on the ground. Derby baits it out, and that's one of the downsides of. And it looks like he wasn't really wanting to go home there, but the downsides of backing that far forward is they can prevent you from going home, which kills the timing of I have to get back before the wave gets there.
Sure. Yeah, those rotations always so tricky in Smite. The minions do so much damage so early, including the towers. I mean, a single wave can almost kill your tower at this stage with the god there in the lane. So you have to be so careful in those rotations. Speaking of careful rotations, left side is the chunks. Weekend's making his way over here. I don't think he's going to try to contest that. They're going to go ahead and give that one up. He's going to dash across the lane where Derby and Kiki are taking out the minions. He just wants to share this experience with him. It looks like he will make it into range indeed.
Left side looks like Samshu's clearing the wave pretty effectively here. Heart Bomb. Of course, this is how you play Cupid, right? You just push the wave, like try to get the wave as early as you can, hit it a bunch of times so it gets close enough so the Heart Bomb hits both of them, and that way you can kind of like grab everything and just roll with that. I mean, you see the back wave kind of getting cleared out there. Gold Fury is getting ward heavily here by Weekend, putting the ward down right in front of the Gold Fury, now going over to the movement speed. One thing we haven't seen very often now currently contrasting, of course, to the first week of the SPL, is teams trying to invade the order side movement speed buff. We haven't seen much of it more recently, whereas last week for the first 3 days we saw it every single match. We saw the Chaos side always looking to steal that and grab it up. Left side double taunt coming through here. Here comes your team though. Look for the stun. Samtru backing away. The ultimate of Nemesis there. There goes the Cupid ultimate. There goes the hit. We can drop below. The pop, the heart bomb. A lot of damage coming through, dropping low, but not going to be enough. Ultimate coming out. There's the portal on the ground. Still going to do a lot of damage there, but of course the rotation from Heroin is not going to be enough to get the kill. That Athena ultimate reduced it too much damage.
Yeah, the heart bomb could have very easily killed there, but if not for that Athena ultimate. It was a little bit of a sloppy fight altogether. I mean, everyone kind of just piling in on each other. And unfortunately there for Snipe, that new ultimate, not enough to kill off Samshu, left with about 100 health there, maybe even under, about 80. So that ultimate just so notoriously weak in the early game, but becomes so potent in the later stages of the game, especially once the lane's breaking, you're able to find out where everyone is.
Well, they know now as they start to spread over into the jungle, crossing over wards. Of course, Blue Buff will go down. Allied going to pick that one up and head back over to the lane. The right side is being defended pretty heavily here by Cyclone Spin. Contrasting the two solo laners, we're going to see Cyclone Spin currently sitting at 3,200 gold, and of course across the way Kiki or not at 3,400. So a 200 gold differential. One thing to note right now is the fact that Kiki has finished off his Warrior Tabi. So he's got penetration, and if you get those fast enough, it can make a huge difference.
It absolutely can, especially against Cyclone Spin, who is getting tanky. I mean, all the pen you can get early on is great. Left side lane, crashing in is unique. Here is Heroin as well. A lot of bursts about to come out. Allied in a lot of trouble, and down he will go indeed. First blood goes the way of Chunks onto Allied, and it's actually picked up by Samshu there, so couldn't have worked out any better for them.
Why? Why?
Tell me that it's human
How now, Brown
nature.
Cow?
Why?
I don't know why. So here's the thing, right?
You live in this way.
Thank you for the pickup. Allied had yet to go home. He had not gone home to pick up anything. He was sitting in the lane, had a bunch of gold. In fact, he went home and actually finished off his Hasten Fatalis. The thing is that he had no ultimate. He had not gone home, so he had no actives, no purification beads, no nothing, and he was sitting on no consumables. So why was he so far up in the lane without vision?
Because his ultimate makes him immune.
He has no ultimate.
Because he didn't have sufficient vision.
That's why he's up in the lane?
That's why he got killed.
That's why I know why he got killed. I'm wondering why he was still there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they were expecting a 4-man rotation to the left side that early.
It's Giannis and Thor.
Yeah, they're so mobile.
One can travel through physical things, and the other one can fly. So that's the other thing as well. And that's kind of the thing, right? A lot of times you go into your game and you're thinking, I'm going to do my lane. I'm good to go. This laning phase, start. And then you don't think about who has globals and who can travel fast.
Right, and Giannis and Thor are two of those targets absolutely on the map. Nothing doing at this moment, ladies and gentlemen. 6 minutes, 40 seconds into the game. 1 kill to nothing. First blood, the only kill on the board, going the way of the Fat Chunks assembling here for your viewing pleasure. You do see that tomorrow, Dev Talk with Arachne. You'll definitely be tuning in for that, I hope. But nothing much to report here from the game. I mean, I think that Allied has learned his lesson, playing pretty passively now in that duo lane. Happily farming away his Samshu, Aurora there, just to give him the protection. Still not a lot of rotations out of the supports just yet. Although, you know, it's always a threat in that solo lane there. If Jungle gets too low, to see that Athena ultimate coming out on chalk.
So, honestly, the rotation there, the last fight, was great by Heroin, able to get the portal through the wall, kind of rotating and helping his team out a lot. He does that pretty consistently, considering the fact that he's got 2.6 KDA there in the mid lane. Contrast that to Jerby, though, 4.1. Now, a lot of this came from his Nuwa match up against Team Dignitas, but 484 GPM, that's pretty darn high for a mid laner on average. Contrasting that to something like a solo lane that would get a lot of golden experience while sitting there farming up. So definitely very strong mid play across the board. Heroin coming out of the gate, surprising everybody with how well he was able to play that first week. But the question is, can he actually get a win today? I mean, currently, Snipe and Chunks are relatively tied, of course, in gold, but the experience does favor Snipe, about 1,600 experience in favor of Snipe, which will make a pretty big difference, especially going towards that first gold Fury.
Well, maybe most interestingly here is the fact that it's a gold advantage from Snipe, however low, about 400 gold, and First Blood did go the way of Chunks. That's the only kill in the game, which means the Chunks actually are getting outfarmed pretty severely to the tune of about 600 gold already in the game.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, 600 gold makes a big, big difference. And the problem is that as you go into the later stages of the game, that's usually tends to extrapolate, especially with experience. Like, right, you pick up an extra level, get a level 2 your ultimate, allows you to win a team fight, and then you get a gold Fury, and then get a tower, and all of a sudden you're a lot more ahead. Looking for the mid fight here, not going to find a Heroin, getting really far away. We can dive in the tower, taking shots. Actually, Thor dug on top. He takes a lot of damage from the tower. Retribution will buy some time, but the Giannis ultimate, the hammer comes through and misses on the way out and the way in. Big burst on Unique. Rotation from Aurora, looking for the kill, not going to find it. And luckily enough, Weekend is smart enough to not run through the tower, but actually run to the opposite side and back behind a rock.
Aurora's here, though, and has spot out Incontinent. She's going to be able to put out some nice damage onto Athena. We'll leave the shield wall first trouble, but we'll build his passive a bit as well. Checking back in on the duo lane where the Hunters are going toe-to-toe here. Samshrew doing a very nice job of keeping this lane pushed up versus Allied, which is not the easiest thing in the world to do with a Cupid, although he has hit that magical level 9 where his clear gets so much better.
Well, the clear is growing and growing by every minute that time moves on, and honestly, it's going to come down to the mid stage of the game when Allied and
why is Jerby in the place that he's in? Jerby in a lot of trouble here. He's going to get stunned out, force uses beads. He's going to get destroyed. Trying to be sneaky and steal a orange buff there, and just gets absolutely manhandled for trying to make that rotation. It looks like he was expecting the backup from the soul lane. The jungler just didn't make it in time.
Well, pretty agree. I mean, he had plenty of vision from behind, but not from in front, and that's what happens when you invade someone's home, and they tend to fight back. The left camp on the left side here will be going to Chunks. The right side wheel looks like it's actually already down, so we go to Snipe there, able to pick up the golden experience from that one. Jerby heading towards a Soul Reliquary, of course, going to be heading over towards that Book of Thought, I would imagine, just start off here and just kind of go forward. Works really well with Nuwa and a lot of those kind of high damage mages, plus giving more mana, allowing you to use more abilities. Aurora has decided that his Watcher's Gift is a Mighty Frozen Hammer. That heavy hammer, of course, will be his starting right into Midas Boots after the fact. And the question is, how does Aurora want to build Fenrir this time? Because a lot of times he doesn't really have this squishy of a team on the other side with Nemesis, Nuwa, and Frez. The question is, does he want to get a little bit of penetration and damage?
Well, he built a shifter shield last time. I expect a Hide of the Urchin coming out next.
The Urchin is definitely a possibility. As far as how he builds, he likes to go Warrior Tabi usually, and then into something like a Sovereignty, Magic's Blessing, and then possibly a late-game Titan's Bane, depending on how things work out for him.
Yeah, I'm expecting this build to be something like Hide of the Urchin into... Just because of the magical damage coming out from
I think Sovereignty has to be first.
You think? I don't know. I think you may see the Magi's Blessing into Shifter Shield and skip Sovereignty altogether here if you're thinking he wants to play aggressive. But the Midas Boots would indicate that it is going to be that Sovereignty build.
Right, yeah, definitely. I mean, you start with that Warrior Tabi, but you're in a game here where your team's gonna be relying on you to be tanky, right? I mean, you look at Giannis, he can keep himself alive. Thor has a lot of mobility, but characters like Cupid and John Quay are gonna get to the fight and commit to it, and wholly are gonna need some kind of support to come by and kind of help them along the way. So we'll see if that works out. Look for the initiation on the left side, gonna find Incontinentia. There goes the banish on top of Samshu, ultimate coming out from Cupid, hardball, body block. There's the ultimate coming out from Giannis, gonna get the kill. Heroin with the snipe from mid lane takes Incontinentia out of the fight, and Allied is left wondering, what's he going to do?
Yeah, he just saw his friend get ripped through space and time. And dead.
I don't like this.
Kiki does have Hide of the Urchin completed now as well. Incon working his way towards Sovereignty. Still no indication from War what he's going to go for, but does have 1,800 gold to his name. Likely picking something up shortly here.
Well, he's got 1,300 that decided there for a weekend, so we can, I imagine we going home shortly, like you were mentioning. And they pick up the back heartbeats, movement speed will coming back up. But a lot of times, junglers just like to sit out and hang out and just be like, I'm going to get as much gold to this map as I possibly can. I mean, only go home when I absolutely have to. Just get as much gold, time spent farming as possible. Just get as far ahead as you can. That works very well, especially for characters like Nemesis that can transcend into more of a basic attacker late game. Aurora has gone home, leaving Samshrew alone, but Allied is not going to get the kill in the meantime. We just see a rotation coming out from Mutant in the jungle, looking for an opportunity to jump in there. Good pop of the shield. Oh, it did kill the ward there. Nice play by Incontinentia to clear that out, but the mid camps are coming up.
I'll have it back online for the mid camps on the backside here. Weekend picking up his speed buff rotation, actually. Oh, the oh-so-rare rotation from the soul lane, but this time it is only to secure the right side mid camps. Also, we haven't called Jeremy's name a lot here, and that's a good thing, as he's passively farming up. Does have a death to his name, got caught out a bit earlier, but is well on his way towards that Book of Thoth. Likely to pick that up here in about the next 2 minutes. On the side of Cyclone Spin, however, he's on his way towards the Warlock Session. He's going to be there in about a minute, so actually going to win that race to the stacking item.
Well, right now we're going to see that the Warlock Session is starting out like you made, so getting that stacking item up shortly on either side for both these mages. But you're going to see Chalk actually going for the Hide of the Urchin first. The question is, will he go for a Heartseeker next? Will it be a Chins? Will it be a Jotuns? Or realistically a little bit more engaging, something like a Witchblade? And Witchblade really isn't entirely necessary this game, because realistically the only auto attacker you're looking for is Cupid. Thor can, but a lot of times just to clean up a kill after the fact. So maybe Witchblade will be delayed, if anything.
I don't expect one
here,
to
but I see one on the side of Chunks, definitely, against Freya Arya, against Nemesis, definitely.
For sure.
Going to make a big difference, especially against Chalk.
Once again, look at Jerby. Look at this. Why does he want to be here so bad? I mean, he's just roaming. Look, they warded super deep back here. A defensive ward coming out from the Chunks back in between their tier 1 and tier 2 because of how aggressive Jerby's playing. So at least gets them to spend their 50 gold, but it's just so high risk for such little reward.
Yeah, we got a ward here on the backside from Snipe, wondering when that rotation comes out. We got 3 players in the mid lane area, rotating over toward the Gold Fury. Looks like Aurora's going to be heading that way. Still, honestly, a pretty passive game so far, but Chunks already have 3 kills on the board over Snipe. They're currently leading 660 gold and 822 experience. Initiation on the left side, the hard bomb's on the ground. There goes the ultimate as well. Fields of Love about to pop. There goes hard bomb as well. Ultimate coming out from Giannis. Not going to be enough. Samdru gets the last shot, but barely. Ally dropping low. Portal to the ground. Going to drop down low. Can't even get the ultimate off in time. There goes the burst. Now looking for Weekend. Weekend drop below as well. They're continuing on here. Up there goes Nuwa. Going to do a lot of damage, but not getting enough to finish off Unique. There goes the kill on Jerby, forcing him back. The Fog's on the ground. There goes into the portal, popping the beads in response, though. No unstable Vortex will be landing there, but Fender's not done yet. Good play from Jerby. Aurora wants the kill, but can't find it. They're still going deep, but they needed the damage from Giannis on that one.
Yeah, they did. And I love that Giannis play. That this whole I just dropped a portal inside the fog. What are you gonna do about it? Well, it's a great counter actually.
Yeah.
That I don't think any. I definitely didn't catch on paper there that it would be so effective. But winning a team fight on the left side of the map often means that the Gold Fury is going to be at least attempted by the Chunks, and it looks like that they're still over here, but Aurora just a bit too low to really feel safe trying to take that sustained fight.
Yeah, you see teams more and more nowadays realistically thinking, I'm only going to go for Gold Fury if it's guaranteed. Because we're seeing time and time again teams that are going for Gold Fury and they get countered by a team that they thought was not physically capable of countering, and all of a sudden they're left wondering, okay, I'm 3,000 gold behind now. I lost a lot of towers. Now I don't have map control. It's like, was it really worth it for the thought of possibly getting 1,500 gold to give the enemy team a chance at getting back into this match? Especially given the fact that we look at, the gold so far, 1,200 gold in favor of Chunks, and a lot of it comes in the soul lane as well. I mean, you're looking at Cyclone Spin sitting 7,700 gold in for his name. Across the way, we do have Kiki or not at 7,800, so they're actually pretty tied up. As far as the stats go, 5.9 for Kiki, KDA, and of course 479 GPM across the way. Cyclone Spin not as high in the KDA, but he's keeping that GPM rather high considering how many kills he doesn't get.
I mean, you have to just die 30 times to not get 400 GPM in the solo lane, as it exists right now. I mean, it's just one of those things where you just get so much GPM, and really what you're looking at here is that Kiki has been able to translate all that gold into kills a little bit better than Cyclone has. Granted, of course, when you're winning games, you have more opportunity to rotate and pick those kills up. When you're losing games, you are stuck to your tower because you can't give up that additional gold. So I think all things told, it's pretty even between these two guys. Kiki maybe with a slight advantage there. Cyclone Spin, speaking of him, has finished off his ethereal staff, so something that we mentioned in Face Off today, if you didn't catch that, has become a more and more in vogue item to pick up. Weekends finish off his Jotun's Wrath. You have Heart of the Urchins, been done on Kiki, working his way into likely Chins. Book of Thoth finally finished on Jerby now, but not before that big HP item comes out from Cyclone Spin, which means that, well, there's really no chance of taking the Zhonghui out with the ultimate.
Well,
hey, we didn't talk about this. There's a Heartseeker on Thor.
Yeah, this is something we do see occasionally, and I know Yuki actually does like going down this road. He likes picking it up on certain characters.
This is damn near ship
even like Hoon Bots, that kind of thing. And it works well on Thor because he has the sustain and survivability of being able to teleport and, of course, fly away. So it really comes down to playstyle and how aggressive you want to be, but do you have the mind's eye to know when to pop your ultimate and fly away when you're in trouble? To keep those stacks up, of course. And a lot of damage can come from it, especially with the built-in damage from his passive, the penetration from the boots, as well as the Jotun's Wrath and the CDR on top of everything else. And he also went for Aegis Amulet, which will help with the new ultimate. It'll help with the Freya ultimate and Freya single target, as well as ultimate from the Chalk. So
here
a lot of
comes the
combo there,
Gold Fury attempt. Dry Bear. It's starting to come out. Hand of God's being used, and it's down before there's a response from Snipe. And Snipe can't really overextend here. They need to be careful because Incontinentia, as we noted, has gone Shell and Hand 3 instead of Beads, and here comes all the damage. Ally blows up Unique, but Incontinentia taking a lot of damage as well. Nuwa taking this guy, putting out her AoE. Aurora forced out of the fight. Samshrew as well getting beaten by Weekend in the backside. Cyclospin's channeling the ultimate. Athena coming down now on top of Heroin, but he's going to dash away as well, and it ends up just being a Gold Fury for Thor traded away. Still a good trade for Chunks, but it could have gone really sour really quickly.
I don't know why Weekend's looking for kills here. They could go for a tower. They could go for a jungle camp. They could go for, the movement speed on the other side. I mean, there's a lot of things they could do, but Weekend spent, about 12 seconds there running through jungle wildly looking for an enemy to kill like a madman instead of looking for an objective to gain. That's kind of the whole greed versus gain aspect, right? People that are looking for kills or looking for glory or looking for some kind of nominal gain rather than keeping their eye on the prize and looking for the overall gold gain plus map control. They're going to steal away the movement speed buff.
Thor-man invade the movement speed.
Hey, man. They got to do something with it.
Yeah, Jerby got destroyed last time we went over there. I mean, it makes sense.
Yep.
And honestly, I like the idea of them. Let's pressure the right side of the map and let's try to get some room for poor Allied to farm here. Once again, just struggling in terms of net worth. 340 gold per minute compared to, well, the 356 from Samshrew. So actually not that far behind. Less far behind than I expected he would be considering those early deaths. And his, well, support being basically brutalized over and over again in the lane.
Sure. Yeah, well, the damage is pretty high from Fenrir. Just naturally, of course, he is technically a warrior, so he gains a lot of physical power and penetration naturally per level. We're going to actually see the mid camps cleared out here, and you think he's going to come by and be like, oh, I guess they're gone by. And he's going to leave in the mid lane. Goldfear will not be up for another 2 minutes and 45 seconds or so, as it is kind of ticking down there. We do see a rotation on the left side. Allied is back with Incontinentia, who is level 12. Incon about to finish that Sovereignty. Aurora has already finished his. Look at the stun, not going to find it. Incon had already primed up his preemptive strike, as that name is very apropos for what just happened. They're able to get away before Fenrir could even land that stun.
Wow, look at this. Witchblade has been purchased, I think, 5 times today already, including this one that Allied's going to be buying into here.
I love it.
It's going to hurt his damage output a lot, though. I mean, it's just straight attack speed basically is what he's getting out of it. He's getting the attack speed slow, but it's only really going to be effective in the lane against Samshrew, who has gone for the Executioner. So a little curious he's not going demonic grip here, but it does give him a little more survivability considering he has been going down, but it will not accelerate his GPM.
Well, one thing to keep in mind as well is a lot of times when we see rushed, actually the left side looking for a kill on Samshrew, there's a Thor Dunk as well. Also coming out from Giannis, it's not going to land. Portal on the ground, not going to land either. Hard Palm should be able to finish on Incontinentia. Actually, Herwin gets it with Unstable Vortex. Now dashing forward, Weaken's getting pretty low here. No Retribution available. New Ultimate does not get the kill on Aurora. The Banish is going to miss from Allied. They're backing off. Here comes Jerby, but he's got to do something big if he wants to turn this fight around. Oh, the minions leash on the other minions. Unfortunately, can't get that stun explosion.
The one that even had a
from the
shot
shiny
got
metal.
portaled.
Oh.
Poor guy, and it's a full-on retreat from Chunks. No new ultimate available to clean up those gods that were left so low by the new ultimate. So, unfortunately for Jeremy, it's just that ultimate just does such little damage. But the bright shining light at the end of the tunnel is the split push from Cyclone Spin.
The bright shining light at the end of the tunnel is Incontinentia is actually out farming Aurora right now because Incontinentia has the Watcher's Gift.
Watcher's
and Aurora's been roaming a lot. He's kind of around the map.
But Aurora has 5 assists and Incon has 3 deaths.
Very true.
Which means that there's a lot of gold going the way of Samshrew and Hurwind.
Samshrew's at 9,100 across the way. Allied is at 8,500, so 600 gold differential there. Herwin currently is 9,400 across the way. Jerby is 9,300, so 100 gold differential. Really, it just comes down to Samshrew. But again, he has been able to pick up 2 kills and 3 assists. But a lot of that has come from rotations from Giannis, from rotations in the jungle there with Unique coming in with the ultimate. So a lot of it comes down to that. But definitely a very big differential there. And we'll see. Looks like he's actually going to be going for that Void Shield, as you predicted, Bar. So definitely pick up a little physical protection, going to help with realistically only Weaken. It will help with Chalk as well, but imagine that a lot of times he's going to the back line, not the front line.
I think it's going to turn into a Shifters, not a Void.
You think so?
I think so. I think that because it needs the magical protection, as you mentioned.
Sure.
Or I'm sorry, the actual protection from being high and or protection for being at low HP will help him out a lot. And it's just this team is so bursty on Snipe, especially once Jerby gets his Ratatouille line on top of Book of Thoth. He is sitting on a pretty nice amount of magical power already at about 300 with that Book of Thoth getting stacked up. Ratatouille is going to push him over the 400 mark. And that's where he's going to, where those ultimates are start really hurting. And that's where the additional defensiveness from that Shifter Shield should help out.
Absolutely. The Shifter Shield does make a big difference. But, another item. Oh, 3-man banished it from Allied. Look for the taunt. There's the taunt. They're jumping in with the roar. The Cupid ultimate will buy some time. There goes the pop. Up in the air goes Allied. No shots coming out there. There goes the slow. The portal will come through. Herwin gets out with that ultimate.
God.
The damage on Yuki's not going to be enough. They all survived.
Did you see what happened there to Aurora? So he put out the ultimate, and Aurora actually took it backwards into the mid lane. Like he went back through it the other direction, and then ulted away and ran into the right side jungle, and then survived the new ultimate. That's how he got out of that fight. He was dead to rights, the Frey ultimate, the third bomb coming in, and he actually poured it through that Giannis ult. Wow. What a play.
Well, that's the power of Giannis for you. That ultimate has so many implications for gameplay, and we're going to see one of them there.
She got dogged.
Oh, man.
I hate myself.
That was a bit of a stretch. Jerby's going to go for Chronos Pendant here on the top side. Look for that extra little bit of CDRs, considering the fact that he went for penetration boots. Gold Fury has been started by the Chunks, and they're looking to take it down, but not having the positioning or the strength to do it. 3 members from Snipe hanging around. They didn't know where Weaken was. Of course, he was not in position. Neither was Jerby, but they didn't have that information personally. So the thing, it's not worth the fight. Mid tower is down. Right side tower is down for both teams there, but the mid tower will still remain for Snipe. Overall, it's still a very much even game. 1,000 gold at 23 minutes is not really that much of an influence and 1,300 experience. That's kind of what you'd get for getting a single Gold Fury win or something like that. So it really doesn't make a huge differential. But notably, it is in favor of Chunks right now. They definitely have a kill advantage. But it's rough, right? To have this 1,300 gold and 2,000 experience lead when you're 5 kills ahead doesn't feel that great. I mean, you'd expect to be higher.
Yeah, it's only 5 kills, though. I mean, this game has been so passive to date here.
Well, it's because they haven't done anything after the kills.
7 kills in 24 minutes here, but here comes some initiation from Weekend going deep, and maybe a bit too deep here. In comes the bailout, but they're forced to use an ultimate there from Incon. He has nice positioning, just a little bit off the mark. They're going to try to burst out a roar here.
Whoa!
It will be in time, so they will get something out of it, which should translate into a pretty easy attempt at a Gold Fury now for Snipe, as there is no Aurora, and there's no other Hand of the God 3 over on the side of Chunks.
Yeah, it looks like they've got, what do you mean on the side of Snipe? They've got 2, and Continentia and Kiki
yes.
both have that TOG 3. So they can secure this pretty easily here, especially given the fact that Kiki still has his ultimate, which can silence anyone that can come in. But here comes Yuking up into the air looking for the dunk. Are they going to leash it or not is the question. Ultimate going to hit Allied in the back. Thorndock's going to miss, though. Each of them get popped early. There's the card ticket down. Allied dropping low. Getting killed. Cyclone Spin's going to get that one. Sam's trying to get the kill on the backside. Now looking for Herwin. Herwin got the Each It will be in time.
Jeremy got a kill.
Going to get a kill on top of Cyclone Spin. The Gold Fury is still yet to be leashed. Now it's fighting a minion. Sam's dropping low. He's dashing away. The hammer. Great wall. Does it block? No, it does not. But they are way too slow to take it out. Now, granted, Incon down here, so they have no secure from the support, but they still have the Hog 3 from Kiki, so they should be A-okay to take this one down. It is warded, so the question is, will they go for it? Samshu's heading over, but does he have the balls?
Nah, he can't go in. No ultimate available either. Can't even put out good AoE damage at this point. So it is going to be a Gold Fury going the way of Snipe, and they're going to pull ahead with that Gold Fury. In fact, to the tune of about 900 gold and about 100 experience separating the teams in favor of Snipe. So all square basically there on the experience life and a little bit ahead in gold. They've recouped that early game that was a bit tough for them on the back of that nicely played team fight. And as you watch the team fights continue to progress, it seems like the Chunks are having a very hard time dealing damage.
They are.
Unique is constantly Berserker barraging through waves, looking for opportunities to get there. It's like just in that last fight we saw him spinning in the back of the Gold Fury after missing his ultimate and never catching back up to Allied, who just used his Fatalis and rocked away from him. So, and Cyclone's been even having a hard time finding ways to stay in the fight without taking too much damage, and that seems to be the way it went, at least through the mid game now for the Chunks in these fights.
Already pushing up here. Looks like the mid tower will be defended very aggressively by Chunks. Alex going to go for the Demonic Grip after the Witchblade, so physical protection will be his primary goal. Of course, avoiding damage from Fenrir, from the Cupid, and of course the Thor, all doing physical damage in massive bursts. 26 minutes, we've crossed over on the dot here, Bart, and it looks like the Gold Fury will be down for the count for a very long time, at least another 4 minutes or so. The Fire Giant is standing tall, but no team really has the positioning to go for it at this current point in time. Again, we have a very small gold and experience differential between the two teams, 8-4 as far as the kills go. Even the kills are relatively even across the board. So the question is, which team is going to make a breakout play, and how long is it going to take before they are able to make it?
Yeah. How long do they have to make that play is kind of another way to think about that, is that, the clock is ticking here, I think, for the Chunks. I mean, Cupid will be good in the late game, but, Allied, the Freya, Jerby, Kiki, Weekend, kind of quad core they have going on here will end up being a bit more potent unless Cyclone Spin gets just absolutely enormous, and he's already on his way, and Herwin is near his Ratatouille as well. Their next timing is coming pretty soon here where they're going to be very powerful, but Thor's going to fall off pretty aggressively to the late stages of the game, as will Fenrir.
Well, the Fire Giant is being warded heavily. Fenrir, when you're mentioning, look for the stun on Kiki, going to find it. Aurora taking a little bit of damage here. It looks like he's picked up that tower shield, so what is he going to have to turn it into is the question. Fire Giant is still throwing that fire boulder at people. Left side looking for a kill on Allied. The hammer's going to come out shortly. A little bit on the opposite side of the wall, though. Hardbomb's going to tick after the each salmon. Great banished by Allied. Now turn around. Athena ultimate come through here. Can they actually force the ultimate Thor? They're going to force it out. The Cupid ultimate will cause them to spread. Thor cannot return back on this fight, and they're going to be going home.
So nothing doing there, just some ultimates used and coming out, but for Snipe, Allied does keep his on line here, and is continuing to itemize, now working on its Demonic Grip after the Witchblade, and is going to be basically stacking attack speed to cap at this point.
Well, they're pushing it out, and it seems to be working pretty well so far. Left side now going to be targeted by Snipe. They've got their crosshairs on it, and the tower will be falling shortly here. Can they actually defend it in time? There's the hammer or the wall coming out from the Thor. You can make a difference there. Tower will fall, looks like. We can smash that one down with his ninja sword. Now looking for Samshrew, though. Johnny back on him, forcing it away. Ultimate coming out from the Giannis. Herwin not able to land that one. Here comes Kiki. Good right. Banish, double taunt. Lots of AoE potential here, but no one is in position to capitalize on it. There goes the AoE silence, looking for a roar. The girdle means go. They're looking for it. Up in the air goes Nuwa. There's a big AoE damage coming out. Yuki's forced to disengage here. Derby's going to kill Aurora in the meantime. Dashing away in Samshrew. There's the sprint. Needed one more shot on the Freya ally. Not able to secure that kill there. Cyclone Spin kills off Derby with the massive AoE damage from the Zhong. It's a double kill for Cyclone Spin. He's turned this one around. Yuki looking for the damage on ally. The Banish is going to miss entirely. Chasing him down there even more. The card is not coming out for cooldown in time. Unstable Vortex is going to come through. Looks like Weaken and Kiki are going to support Allied on his disengagement. Still about a minute left until Gold Fury comes back up. This tower is now exposed.
Yeah, they have a good opportunity to run this tower back at them. Kiki, the only one here that really is a tanky frontline presence. Both Weaken and Allied are going to have some issues if they get hit with really any spells, especially from Herwin, who is sitting at full HP and will be able to play fairly aggressive here. Down falls the tower in favor of the Chunks, and they have answered back now. And we are all squared once again. Only 500 golden experience separating the teams. It doesn't even matter who it's in favor of, because at this point it is unimportant. Kiki now popping Sprint to deal with a Cupid ultimate. They're going to try to put the damage out. Samshrew forced to dash away. Kiki wants to stay in, but he's going to eat the Heart Bomb now. Oh, they're going to actually pop the Nemesis ultimate on Cyclone Spin. Kiki is going to fall now, as will Incon coming down, but not enough damage to kill the Incon as well as he comes in, or enough to burst down, well, old Kiki there before the Incon came in. So now Herwin will pick up another kill exiting this fight, and Giannis has just continued to be such a wrecking force in these games. Allied taking yet another spill, but Jerby's ultimate to pick up Unique there after popping the girdle. Such a back and forth fight there. That one seemed like it raged on for about 4 minutes as we approach the 30-minute mark here, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a pretty slow game, 19 kills across the map. Tower advantage in favor of Chunks. They've taken one more down. I'm sorry, in favor of Snipe. They've taken an additional tower down over the Chunks. And, yeah. It's we're still pretty damn close here. I mean, it's less than 1,000 gold and experience separating the teams.
The jungle's making a big difference here, right? And that's really where it's coming from. Weaken driving these fights pretty hard here. You can see that on the screen. Weaken at 6.0 KDA. But I want to talk about Unique, the newest addition to Fat Chunk Assemble. Of course, Rush had stepped down, and he will be stepping in. And he came out with explosive passion. He's 11.5 here KDA, as well as a 460 GPM. Now, he's not getting as much gold as Weaken, but also his team is not doing as well. You can see 33% win. So overall, he's not going to get objective-based GPM like Towers and Gold Furies and, you know, of course, winning the game there. But, you know, you can tell by his kills that he's making a big difference. Currently, right now, he's 2-2-7, 13.1k gold so far. Player damage relatively low, but you look to Thor for the team fight presence, and that's why you pick him up.
Yeah, of course, and 7 assists, as you mentioned. I mean, that's he's been doing his job. He's been going in there, he's been doing a lot of damage. But going back to this Heartseeker pickup, I mean, it's such a strange pickup for Thor when you really think about it, because in competitive play, most of the time, he's ulting in, popping an Aegis, and throwing a hammer to get out, which means that he is in a lot of danger a lot of the time. He's initiating into multiple members. Ideally, it doesn't have a great amount of synergy with the Heartseeker outside the fact that Berserker Barrage hits like a truck.
Berserker Barrage does do a lot of damage here, and it's really one of those abilities that you really look to, and it's just like, you know, kind of getting in your face. And the problem that it causes realistically is that, you know, he moves at a pretty significant speed and also get close to you. So, you get the hammer, you throw it out, hit it on the way out, hit it on the way back, and the second it sources that secondary damage, teleport and pop the Berserker Barrage. It does a lot of damage. Of course, you could zone him out with the wall there. Weaken's going to start up the Gold Fury here. Big crits, 568. There's a 535, doing so much damage here. Weaken able to pick up that crit early, making a big difference with that rage. Execution also helping with the damage coming out from the other sources here. Hog comes out, the Gold Fury gets taken for free, and Chunks had no idea.
Yeah, it melted too. Taken away very, very quickly, and a lot of that's power of Cupid. The attack speed sim that he gets out of his dash, if he likes to use it, plus the Heart Bomb double detonate, has a lot of scaling and is very, very strong. Now, taking a look here at Samshrew himself, he has finished off his Executioner, built into his Rage as well, so starting to really come online as a physical damage source. And this is where Freya really needs to get this Rod of Tahuti or Bancroft's Talon or whatever damage item is going to be out pretty quickly now, as the crits will pull ahead of that magical attack speed-based DPS pretty quickly.
Yeah, well, the attack speed-based DPS is really what scales into the late game as well. It's something you can rely on through the times, and, you know, honestly, it really makes a big team fight opportunity if you're able to kind of combine that with ability-based damage, which Nemesis does well. I mean, you can get in there, slice and dice, pop the ultimate, drop the protections, and then swing like a madman and get a kill just because of it. So that's kind of the synergy you expect to see from a character like that, and why she gets played so much. And Continental are going to be going for that Pestilence, possibly. Now, of course, it could be the Bulwark as well at this point, so wondering if he's going to go for either one. on. The question is, what does he value more? I mean, you see a Shell. Both supporters have picked up Shell. It seems like what we talked about on Face-Off, the point we were making is that, you know, the Shell is making a huge difference in these burst style lineups, and realistically, both these teams have burst styles. But here's the problem, Bar allies across the map. Derby's in mid lane, not really standing in the right positioning here. It looks like all of Chunks are on top of the Fire Giant. Will they start it up is the question, and they're looking to do something with it, possibly looking for a kill on Kiki. Jumping in, there's a stun, there's the pickup, doesn't have purification, please get away from this one. There's the big burst. Athena's buying time, but how much time does he really need? There goes the damage. The Heart Bomb, the Cupid ultimate on the ground as well. The burst will not be enough. The damage actually from the ultimate will keep him alive, and Concentration Force disengage. Derby's on top of Aurora, but the chunk damage is way too much here. The girdle means go. There goes the ultimate. Derby's up in the air. Can it be enough to split them out here? So there goes the Kira. Aurora is already down here, so it's a 4 versus 5. Ali gets hit by the card, looking for damage. The Cyclone Spin's not going to be able to force him away. There goes the teleport from Hurwin. On the ground goes the Threshold, getting close this weekend. Needs a crit to kill this one off. The hammer comes out. The crit does not come through. Dashing forward, avoiding the damage from Hurwin is going to be weakened, and it looks like Chunks are assembling in their base as they head home. They turn back around. 3 versus 5.
No ward there. Super deep, though, to spot them out. I mean, there's one that will spot them as they turn the corner, but nothing to indicate exactly where they are behind that rock. So Snipe Force Play is a little bit conservative, but they are actually not going to go ahead and start the Fire Giant. It makes sense. I mean, there's just too much danger coming in from the way of the Chunks, and especially because Cyclone Spin's ultimate still online.
Still online, indeed. Looking at the rotation here, though. They're going to go for Fire Giant area again. A lot of warning coming out here. Plenty of vision on either team. Looks like he's going to head on home here. Weekend is doing the movement speed buff in the back. Derby has gone for that Soul Reaver. A great item to synergize well with the new ultimate, the Fire Shards. It will target the lowest HP character, and of course getting that kill and securing it very effectively. A lot of sentry wards from both teams. There's 3 in the inventory for Snipe plus a single ward, and then 2 in the inventory for Chunks plus 3 additional wards. Vision is very high valued by both these teams.
So Derby has an interesting choice here. He can finish off his Bancroft talent and go for the Life Steal style on this tiny trinket, but he'll likely sell it and pick up a Rod of Tahuti here, as he is getting damn near 6 slotted and has some just absolutely absurd amount of damage, I'm sure. Let's take a look. Sitting at 510 before the Rod of Tahuti, and that's before the girdle as well, which is going to give another 20% on top of that. So he's going to be nearing the 1,000 mark, especially with his Fire Giant buff on him.
Weekend is not going to buy a Chins, period. He's actually going to go Executioner, Rage into AC, which is going to cap him pretty hard on the attack speed. And of course, he looks like he's going to be going into a Deathbringer. So he wants major attack speed, major lifesteal, major crit and penetration, and no Chins at all. So we'll see how that works out for his overall damage. We do know Chins does a lot of single target, but, you know, and especially against high HP characters like, you know, Aurora or Unique is also buying HP, and Cyclone Spin at a pretty high HP value with that Ethereal Staff. You wonder why he wouldn't get Chins.
So just a quick well, I guess addendum there. Soul Reaver is actually hitting the god that has the highest max health, not the lowest current. So it will be basically always hitting either Cyclone Spin or Aurora. Probably Cyclone Spin it'll proc on. Let's just check that real quick. HP value here, 2,500 on the side of the Junkway. Fenrir sitting on 2,759. So we'll be hitting Aurora most of the time.
Yeah, I was going off what you were talking about yesterday.
I lied to you.
I should fact check. And Cyclone Spin should life check, as he's already getting picked off here in the backside. Great pickup by Weekend, and that's exactly what we talk about. If everyone's wondering why Nemesis gets picked to counter Junkway, it's right there. He was able to pop the ultimate, slow him, and simultaneously reduce his protections, and then crit him for tons of damage. Weekend gets blocked away by Unique. There goes the Threshold, keep the movement speed up. Kiki or not trying to make it more but it's not going to happen. There's they bounce back over to the Fire Giant. Lots of vision coverage here by Chunks' a ward right next to the Fire Giant. Actually, they have Fire Giant vision control, but they don't have control of the Fire Giant.
True. Yeah. They have it here, and Kiki's just going to stay in there. The minion's also putting in a respectable amount of damage. 42 3 times every time they attack, and Fire Giant getting very, very low now as the fight gets extended out. Now it's up to Snipe. Can they disengage? Your ally does take out crashing way back. Is Unique there. Will actually be able to pick up Jerby, but the burst damage coming through just so high. Aurora. Well, Aurora is just, he's in no man's land here as he's getting chased down by the Nemesis. Auto attack to death, and Incontinentia, give him the kill. Get the kill, Incon. Oh, did Aurora make it? No, Incon gets the kill, granting me more fantasy points.
Oh man, what a clear there. But that time in the new ultimate was so close. He almost got tagged by that so quickly. Of course, he ended up coming back down and get killed off. But at least he's able to get the ultimate off and get the 2 assists from the 2 kills that happened after the fact. And also, of course, spread the damage out over the team a little bit better. So now you got 2 players on the side of Chunks defending. It's going to be a Junkway and a Thor. Can they do it? Looks like they won't be able to. Rise of Phoenix will be pressured heavily by Snipe. So Chunks, after getting a bit of a lead there, you know, controlling the mid game, transitioned to the late game and are still not able to hit it. I mean, Snipe has skied skyrocket up to 7,000 gold in the lead. They're currently 7,600 experience in the lead. They're going to take out the right side tower. The mid tower is going to fall as well. That's going to put them closer to that 8,500 gold total. The gold Fury is up. That would put them at 10k. I imagine they'll go straight for that instead of going for the tower, a little less risky, of course. And they do have the 2 Hog 3s. Are they doing gold Fury? They are indeed. So they got Fire Giant buff. They got everything that's going well.
Yeah, this all started around that 29-minute mark. Now 10 minutes later, give or take, we've gone from a 500 gold advantage to a 10,000 gold advantage for Snipe, and they're starting to really pull away with this one. And Jeremy's actually gone Gem of Isolation, and that's something we didn't consider, is that it's a global slow.
It is. It definitely is, and it really helps, kind of change things for the better. But looking at how things have been progressing so far, it seems like Snipe is really understanding how to, go into the later stage of the game. You're looking at it, right, and you're wondering, what happened in the early stage of the game and what happened late. And realistically, it just comes down to the fact that Weekend's been hard farming, Allied's been hard farming, and Jeremy's got a big ultimate. So all they have to do is wait. Derby ults after just presses the girdle, which is a girdle of inner power. It's the self buff. Ult does as much damage as he can. He's doing the Soul Reaver damage to to Cyclone Spin or Roar, and then spreading the damage out. Weekend targets one of them. He can easily kill Junkwei. He can easily kill Samstru, Hurlwind, Unique, whoever he wants, and then Allied ult is very safe. So it doesn't really seem like Chunks have an easy target to burst first. Nuwa's going to be up in the air. Nemesis is going to be fast, and plus also has a shield. Freya's going to be in the air. Incon's probably going to be transitioning into the air. Yeah. And of course, you have to look for Chalk, who can silence and reduce the damage he takes.
Yeah, just kind of like we were talking about. I was talking about earlier there. It's like it's hard for Chunks to actually deal damage to a target.
Yep.
Especially as the Thor here. And taking a look at the damage values, 28,000 done by Jerby, 22.5 by Weekend, which is really phenomenal for that Nemesis. And then Yada sitting there at 24.3 as well. So just above the Nemesis there, who has really overperformed in terms of the damage dealt.
Well, damage has been dealt, and it's continuing to be dealt on the left side, looking to damage this Phoenix. Can Chunks defend it? The Fire Giant buff will last another minute and 45 seconds or so it's definitely a long enough time to make things count. Minions being spun up here by Nuwa. Thor's going up. This could be initiation for Chunks. Who will they go for is the question. Kiki gets stunned out. Grabbed up by Fender. A dunk comes out. Big crit on Aurora. Aurora jumping quickly. Looking for her when the crits are still coming out from Weekend. Big damage. Jeremy drops on the ultimate. Aurora's going to go down. Samshu's going to go. Cyclone Spin goes down as well. Unique is done. And it looks like it's going to be a deicide for Snipe. We have a completed game here. Snipe will take Chunks 17-13 in a 40-minute match. What a fantastic finish. I mean, you look at the charts here. They end the game 14,000 gold in the lead, which dwarfs anything that had happened before. And realistically, Chunks got a small lead but did nothing with it. Allowed time to the late game, and they couldn't end it.
Yeah, just had a hard time capitalizing. And they just seem so anemic in terms of damage in the mid stage of the game there, which is not something you expect out of a Fenrir. But I think it's the Cupid having trouble dealing out damage. Samshu there, looking at his overall damage dealt, sitting at about 17k, so actually fairly respectable. Maybe it's more on the back of the Thor here. Only put out 10k with that Heartseeker. Probably not worthwhile.
Not really worthwhile. Of course, once you get that first death, and then in the second death, it's just that all downhill. You never get it stacked back up.
Let's put up a 3, 3, and 7 though with that.
That's true, and he can also get more utility, right? He can go for another, Magic's Blessing would make a huge difference for him if he got a little bit earlier, of course, preventing everything. But he's got the Rune Forge, he's got the Shifters. Heartseeker would end up getting sold, which was a little bit weird, right? But it's hard to make a good, build out of that. And a lot of times, he basically replaced the standard, here's a progression for most Thors, right? This is the most built item progression for Thor. Warrior Tabi into Jotuns into Urchin.
Of course.
He disrupted that whole thing by going
Heartseeker.
Warrior Tabi into damage, into defense.
Right.
So delaying that defense meant that he really couldn't stay in the fight long enough, and you saw it. He started to ult, and Allied was like, dead.
Yeah, couldn't do damage in the fights, had to throw the hammer to get out.
Yep.
But let's take a look at Weekend here. I mean, 6-0-10 and putting out an absurd amount of damage, 27k on a Nemesis, and Weekend quickly becoming, I think, one of the standout players in North America,
Definitely.
in the jungle role especially, has been doing really great. And just take a look at this fight here where he's just doing so much damage. He actually ends up picking up a double kill into a rampage streak on this, and the Jerby ultimate here from that Nuwa did insane damage as well. But Weekend was hitting like a truck with that Rage Blade here, replacing the chin size in the normal Nemesis build by and large. But that's going to do it for our coverage, guys. Take a look at the time here. We're a little bit over, so it's going to be 5 minutes before the next game, which is going to be Dignitas versus Cog Red. Don't go anywhere for Dry Bear. I'm hi-rez Bart. We'll be back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail with Dignitas versus Cognitive Red.